Okay, well, I had a question which I thought I may as well make a video of instead of writing it down. And I had a subscriber who wrote and said, I want to come to the Philippines, I want to retire, and I don't know what to do. So I said, okay, I will tell you all I know, which shouldn't shouldn't take long, should it? Now, so the best thing to do is to bring everything just short of the kitchen sink, right? So if you're coming out here and you're going to live, that was a brownout. They call it brownout here. It should be blackout, but it's a brownout. But anyway, you might get another one like that. But I'm still recording, so I'm okay. So it's best to bring every single document that you have that relates to your registration as a human being. Yeah? So you need your birth certificate. You need your passport, and if you're planning to come ahead, why don't you just renew your passport and get the whole 10 years so that you don't have a hassle. It can be a hassle to get your passport, so bring it with you. A 10-year one, nice new one. Now, you don't actually need very much to come to the Philippines. The best way to find out exactly what you need as far as travel requirements is to go to the source. Go to the Philippine Embassy. Or phone a couple of the airlines and find out what they will need you to have in order to accept you as a passenger. So, but the Philippines, I think, has opened its doors now. So I don't think that you need anything more than a PCP test. I really would avoid getting one of those if absolutely possible. You can get a little pinprick, whether they'll accept that, but try to get a non-invasive one. Don't have them pushing up one of those swabs into your brain because you don't know what they're going to leave there. So I think I'm going to try just briefly to stop the dogs barking. Or have they barked? The dogs actually, I suspect, have they have cameras outside, and as soon as I get on a video, it's like, hey guys, he's on a video, start barking. That's my suspicion, of course. But let's get back to it. I'm distracted. So you don't actually need very much. As I say, try to avoid, if you can, the swab test. It's been declared useless by the man who invented it. That they've got the sensitivity turned up so high that it would get a positive test on an aspidestra. So if you can get a blood test, that's what Beth and I did. We were asked to take a swab test, and when we got there, the little lady brought out these swabs. Believe me, they're about that long. If you've had one, you'll know I'm telling the truth. And we said no, thank you. What we would like is a blood test, because the blood test is a little pinprick, and that's it. See, so that's what we had, and that was accepted by the PNP. So that gets you into the country. Now, what you want to avoid is getting here and finding out that you didn't bring that document that you thought you would never need. Now, when I came, I had a certificate from the court where I got my divorce, and it said quite clearly that it was the court in Fort Myers, and it was a certificate stating that I was divorced and that the divorce had taken place in the court and that it was entirely legal. The lady that we showed that to when Beth and I were trying to get married, and I say trying because it took I don't know, somewhere between 2 and 3 months to get that organized. It was a mess. So they actually said, no, we want to see the full decree nisi, which is several pages. So if you're coming, why not get the whole thing? Birth certificate, passport, up to date, 10 years if you can, decree nisi, I don't know what date you had your tonsils out, everything that you can think of. Okay. Now, you also asked, what do you need to be able to retire here? Well, what you will do, if he didn't say anything about that he was coming to join a lady. As far as I'm concerned, from my experience of what I've seen, he's doing the best thing. He's coming here, if he hasn't got a lady and hasn't decided to get married again, then he's coming himself, and he is going to go to a place where his lifestyle, the lifestyle that he can have there, will be matched, and he'll be happy there. Now, obviously, I think it is obvious he'll meet somebody, because I am faithfully, loyally married to Beth, who in my eyes is a beautiful lady, but every time I go into Taliban, I'm a guy, and I have an eye for beauty. I don't have an eye for the ladies as such, but I see beautiful women all the time. They're doing jobs, they're working, they're ordinary people, they're waitresses, you know, and you will soon see that you could have a second chance here. You don't have to come here and retire into a rocking chair and just watch the world go by. You could come and have a fulfilling life. That's what I did, and I'm very happy that I did, and I would recommend it to anyone to do that. How you do it is another thing, but you can find something to do and you can be very happy. And I believe that that will include finding someone to be your partner. Now, if you're thinking of retiring, the easiest way to go, this is the easiest way to go, is to do the resident permit. Right now, people talk in numbers, the R13 or something like that. It's the resident permit. That's what you want. The resident permit. When I did that, what I had to have was I had to go, and I think I had to do this for the marriage thing as well. You have to go to the American embassy, the consulate, and you have to have a police clearance. Now, the Filipinos, they seem to, they make it seem, as when they require this, they make it seem as if you've got to go back to, I don't know, New Jersey, and go to the police station there and say, can I have a clearance? It's not like that. You go to the embassy, and it was $50. I paid $50, and they gave me a clearance. They gave me the certificate, which they know I will need. And then I took that and I showed it at the office that I had to apply with all the papers to get married. Right, now, so a lot of the things that you will do, you do when you get here. He did say, how about getting a residency visa or a dual passport? He was interested in dual citizenship. I know that you can do that, but I don't know anything about it. So that will be something that you would go to the source on. Now the thing is, I always say go to the source because things are constantly changing, especially with what's happening in the world at the moment. I call it madness, right? The world has gone mad. Nowadays, you don't just change your marital status, you can change your sex, you can change your, whether you feel that you're a woman or a man, you can have your breasts removed, if that's appropriate, and you can have your bits and pieces removed down there if they feel that you'd rather go and do the limp thing. It's all there for your choice, right? So when you actually go and you have your, first of all, when you get here, this guy obviously hasn't been here before, so he should be looking at where he would like to live. Now the thing is, I have a friend who lives in Leyte, and for him it's not as easy for him to get his renewal of his visa. So this is what it's easy for me in the island of Bohol, because in not Panglao, well, it's Panglao now, but it was Tagbilaran, and I would go to Tagbilaran and I would be able to renew my visa. Very easy there. Not a hugely crowded office, and everybody very nice. So get used to the idea that people are going to be nice to you, because they are. That's what I find. I know that there's an expression for it that describes it, but I think of it as being reverse paranoid. I'm a reverse paranoid. A paranoid goes out in the morning and he says, I wonder who's going to mess with me today? Who's going to make my life a bloody misery today? And I go out and I say, everybody, without even thinking of it, I know that everybody's going to be nice to me. And they are. So, something in the attitude, I guess. So, you're going to come and you should find out if it's easy to have your life there. And on Bohol, probably the worst that you might have to do on Bohol is drive for a couple of hours from wherever you are. Like for me, it was a couple of hours to go to Tagbilaran and do my visa. The visa was very easy. They need you to do a card, which you have to pay for. Right, now you're going to have to pay. Now, when you come, they give you a 1 month free visa. When you go to renew after 1 month, it's very, very simple. They will renew for 1 month, okay? When you go after that second month, they will renew it for 2. And in some cases, never for me, because when I got here, first of all, I didn't have a huge amount of money, and so I took the cheap way out, which is to just get two months. But I believe that you can get a 6-month visa, okay, so that's always possible. Now, of course, if you were already married, but then that doesn't really apply, because if you were already married to a lady, all you would do is bring your marriage certificate and your lady, and when you come into the country, they would give you what's called a Balikbayan visa, which is a 12-month freebie visa. Really good. So, once again, so I remember it for myself, your passport, your birth certificate, your decree nisi, and you need to have, if you're coming, now here's something before I forget, you need to have a ticket, right? If you're talking about staying, one of the requirements for entry is that you have a ticket which shows your intention and ability to continue on after your visa expires. So you would have to have a ticket that is one way to the Philippines and traveling on, say, to Indonesia or to Hong Kong or to any of these short trip things. And then I'm guessing, though I don't recommend this, I'm guessing that you would stay. So you would change your mind and you would get other visas. So 1 month free, 1 month charged, then 2 months. Now we're into 4 months. I guarantee that you must have been walking around with your eyes closed if you haven't by then found someone that you would like to spend a lot of quality time with. So that's what I go on the assumption that you would do that. Once you are married And you'll need all of those documents that I've just mentioned. You'd need all of those. Plus, you'd have to go for that police clearance thing, but you'll know to do that now because I've told you. Now, once you are married, you can then go and apply for the resident permit. Now, the residency permit is only costs one after a year. You get a trial, right? A provisional, in other words. You get a provisional where you have to behave yourself. Why would you not? After 1 year, and then after 1 year of the resident permit, it becomes an every year thing, and it just continues to go on. And at the moment, it only costs about 300 pesos. 300 pesos is all. Whereas when you go and you do your 2 month, it's I haven't done it for a long time now, but it used to be, I don't know, 4 to 5 or possibly 6,000 to renew that visa. So they really make it easy for you once you've married someone, showed your documentation as for being married, and some signing to go on for your wife, and you would be able to get your resident visa. What do you need for your resident visa? All of the documents that I've just talked about, plus your marriage certificate, plus a few other things like here a small town is a barangay, and every barangay has a barangay captain, and when you need some clearance for something, you go to the barangay captain and say, can you confirm that I live here? Well, that would be easy enough, wouldn't it? So you need that. So you would go and you would fill in the forms. Now, a lot of people, excuse me, a lot of people get an agency to handle that for them. And I only believe, because I haven't actually done this, but I believe it can be about 30,000 pesos. Now, if you don't want to do the running about to this place and that place and get this organized and that organized, 30,000 may seem like a great deal to you, because they take all of the running around off your shoulders, and that can be a real pain to do that. So you would fill out the forms. Now, Beth and I are, well, certainly I am phonaholic. I really don't like filling out forms and things. So we thought we would have a look and try, and it turned out to be very, very easy. So now I just realized that I think, have I got my shirt on inside out? No, it's all right. It's not a senior moment. So you go there and you fill out the forms, and they're fairly easy requirements, because if you've got married, you've already done that anyway. So you fill out the forms and you put them in. Now, when you put those forms in, what I had to do was I had to pay 11,000 pesos. Okay, so 11,000 pesos. I paid that up front. Now, the next thing was I was invited along with Beth to have an interview. Now, if you know anything about the American interviews, you can relax. It's nothing like that. The person that interviewed me was an extremely nice lady, and apart from the fact that we'd applied for one too many visas, she said, you can only apply for one visa. Which one do you want to apply for? So I said, the resident permit. So, having paid my 11,000 at that time, who knows, it might be 20,000 now, I just don't know. That's why you have to go to the source, which is easy enough. So I paid that, and then when the lady told me right there and then, told us, well, there's no problem. You just go away now and watch online, and there's a government website, and it has a listing online of all the people who had been given their various confirmation, approval on whatever they've applied for. So you look for your name, and when your name appears, then all you have to do is to go in our case, we live on Bohol, we had to go to Cebu. And there's a much bigger, busier agency there for the government, which does involve a lot of messing about, getting photocopies and stuff like that. You're required to do that. But as with any Philippine situation, anywhere where there is a government office that requires people to do something, there will be an office, a private company, who will do that service for you for a very modest fee. And I mean a modest fee, a few hundred pesos. So we had to get photocopies of this and that, and then, you know, it's very, very easy. Now, when it came that we saw my name, we went to Cebu. We waited 2 or 3 hours, and then, because I'm a senior, I think that even there they give seniors preference. So I went in, and you've got a Filipina with you. She will be the one to push here and push there. Because they've been brought up on that. They've been brought up on having to wait in line for this or wait in line for that. So you go there and you get your card, and your card is a little tiny, like a credit card, and that tells you that you are now approved and that you need to present yourself at an immigration office in 12 months' time. So there's no further notification on this. You look at your card, and if it says the 12th of this, then next year at the 12th of this, you go up and you present yourself there. And I think there's a very simple form. They don't even renew the card. You just get a piece of paper. I said, well, shouldn't I have a card? Well, no, you just show that piece. Just show that piece of paper. So you've got a card and you've got a piece of paper which says that you've been approved for another year. So I think I must be I'm either in my 3rd or 4th year. All right. So it was very easy. Now, how much do you need? They never asked me at all about what I had. The money that I had, how much I was earning, how much I wasn't earning anything. I was a retiree, and I had enough to live on. How did they know that? Well, I'd been living there for a while, so obviously I was able to support myself and my wife, Beth. So that all went easily. Now, there are other ways of retiring here. You can buy a condo. I'm giving you loose details now because I don't know these, right? But I know that you can buy a condo, especially if you buy a condo which is being built. Now, if you buy a condo which is being built, that entitles you to apply for a certain kind of visa. You go to the source to find out all of the details on this. Or, I think what used to be a bond of $10,000. So if you've got money to spare on that, you can put a bond into an account which is all approved evidently by immigration, and you leave that there, right? So while it's getting a few percent on interest, it's losing at the rate of inflation. So that's not such a good I don't think that's such a good idea, but it allows you to come and go, and it doesn't require that you stay in the country. I think as long as they have that bond there, then you're good to come and go as you wish, and you won't have to apply for a resident visa. But there are many ways of applying to stay, and they really want you to stay. This is what I was told, and I found that this was the case. They want you to stay. So bring everything that you can. Every document that has ever related to you has your name on it, and know things like, well, you should go to the bank, and you should make sure that your pension is being paid into a bank. Now, if it's paid into a bank that is in America, right, an American bank, what you'll find is that what we found very recently is that they've now stipulated, the bank has stipulated that I must have an address in America, even though I'm living in the Philippines. So we tried that. We didn't go along with that, and in the end we decided that we would get my pension from America sent straight to an account here in the Philippines. Now, this is a much better way to go. Much better way, because if you go to a Philippine bank and you get your pension sent there, and there's a little bit of paperwork to do, of course, you get your pension sent there, it arrives in pesos, and you can draw up to, well, on our BDO account we can draw up to 50,000. Now, you don't get charged a big fee. Now, if you go through like I was with Wells Fargo, and your money is being paid into Wells Fargo, and you are, this does work by the way, and you have an ATM card, and you pin all your hopes on that ATM card, because if anything happens to it, it's a real hassle to get a new one. That's what I found. So you would then have your money go there. Now, you would only be allowed to, I was only allowed to withdraw 10,000 pesos a day. Now, that's okay, you know, you can work with that. But you're going to pay 250 pesos for every withdrawal. And this is including whatever your bank charges back in the States. Now, when I left and came to the Philippines, they were charging something like $5. So if you went and you needed to get out 50 or 60,000 over the course of a week, that's going to be money that will be better in your pocket. That's why I would recommend that you go through and have an account with a Philippine bank. Plus, sometimes you might go to another bank, and there's one particular bank in Taliban. We went there a couple of times. I don't like to go there anymore. A couple of times it said, thank you for your transaction is complete. Thank you for banking with us. And they gave me my card back very kindly, but they omitted to give me the money. It was a hassle to get that money, believe me. I had to go into the bank, you have to fill in some forms, and then when you filled in all the forms, they tell you, you really should go to your own bank, and then you go to your bank. It's a hassle. You don't have that hassle if your bank is here. So I hope that helps you. If not, you can always comment, do the comments on this, and if there's something else you need to know, I'll make another video. It's what we do. So, thanks for being with me. Bye for now.